Big news, AFTV are coming to Ghana. We are coming to Ghana in Africa between the 6th and 12th of February, and we're going to be meeting Ghanaian Arsenal fans and doing a watch party around the West Ham versus Arsenal football game. You do not want to miss this, so Ghana, get ready. We are coming. AFTV.
Hi, and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with fans to be linked with January transfer move to Arsenal. Hi, and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal. The Arsenal team at the moment still over there in Dubai, sunning it up, man. It looks great over there, trust me. And they look like they're having a good time, as well as putting the work in. That's what we need to see, right? And they've been doing a lot of training sessions over there, and we'll be returning to the UK this week, of course, for the big game against Crystal Palace. They're going to find the temperatures here a lot different to what they've been witnessing over there in Dubai, because I'll tell you what, this coming week, the predictions are that the weather in the country is going to be very, very cold. So they better get them back fast so they can get used to that as well. But listen, hopefully it's done them some good, and they need it. We got to hit the ground running. I mean, I don't know if you saw the game yesterday, Manchester City versus Newcastle. Ominous for Arsenal and the rest of the Premier League that City are back on the charge. De Bruyne are back. He got a goal and an assist as well. And they were losing 2-1 and came back to win the game 3-2. So ominous. And what did they do? They took their chances. And that's one of the things that I'm hoping that when the team comes back, they've got that back in them. You know what I mean? Martinelli, Saka, Jesus, that they've got that hunger back for this second period of the season. But hopefully they do come back looking good. It was also the start of the African Cup of Nations yesterday. AFCON got off to a start. The Asian Cup has also started. And I'm going to be going to watch one of them Asian Cup games. I'm going to go and see Tomiyasu playing, hopefully, for Japan. So I'm looking forward to that. But AFCON got underway. And we've only got one player there at AFCON at the moment, and that's Mohamed Elneny. Of course, no Partey there. But Mohamed Elneny, he'll be playing today. Egypt taking on Mozambique. And I bet you didn't know that Elneny's Egypt's most capped player currently. One more cap than even Mohamed Salah. So, you know, well done to Elneny. Still interest in Elneny, by the way, from teams over in Turkey. Besiktas said to be the team that's most interested in Mohamed Elneny. But could Elneny leave this January transfer window? He is on a free at the end of the season when his contract expires. Hasn't really played for Arsenal. Will Arsenal try and maybe just cash in on a couple of million before his contract ends? And certainly if he goes and has a good African Cup of Nations, that could push that any sort of deal forward. But let's wait and see how that all works out. There's also another player over there at the African Cup of Nations that is sparking a lot of interest in teams in the Premier League, including Arsenal, and that is Seko Fofana of the Ivory Coast. He played yesterday and he scored an absolute screamer in Ivory Coast's 2-0 win over Guinea-Bissau. A very, very good player. Last season, he had a great year. I remember watching him in a game when Lens played PSG, and he was brilliant. You know, he controlled the midfield. He's box to box, strength, power, and can score goals as well, as we saw last night in the AFCON game. Now, the interest that seems to be through all the teams around Europe is, number one, he got off to a great start in AFCON. But number two, there are rumours that his club, Al Nassr, are willing to loan him out this January transfer window. He hasn't replicated that form over there in the Middle East, in Saudi Arabia. Is that to do with the heat? I mean, you know, you can get up to pitch, box to box, loads of energy over in France in the winter. Doing that in Saudi Arabia is a completely different story in them temperatures. And he struggled a bit over there in Saudi Arabia. So lots of talk that Al Nassr would be willing to loan him out this January transfer window. Now, of course, we know that Arsenal are up for loans of top quality players. We've seen Arsenal being linked with players like Amadou Onana. Could a player like Seko Fofana be a sort of cheap option to get in from now until the end of the season? Just to fill holes. And, I say fill holes, he's a very good player as well. So let's see how that one develops out. But Arsenal, amongst a host of many other clubs, especially after what he did last night, being linked with a move with him. I even spoke about the one the other day with Benzema. That's still flying around the place as well. That Karim Benzema, his club might be willing to loan him out. And of course, he's not been having a great time, even though he scored a lot of goals. Apparently not having a great time of it. I saw where they're doing like a trip to Dubai and he missed out on that and hasn't turned up for training and all kind of things. So who knows? There could be some loan moves coming in from Saudi Arabia. Now, another player that Arsenal have been linked with today is a player called Vermeeren. Vermeeren. I remember we had Vermeeren, not to be confused. He's 18, Belgian player. Plays for Royal Antwerp, and he is really interesting also at the moment. Defensive midfielder. Really came to prominence, beyond Belgium, when he had a great game against Barcelona in the Champions League, where Royal Antwerp beat them by 3-2. He got a goal and 2 assists in the game, and has really been sort of put into that category as the next Belgian Wonderkid. And if you are a Belgian Wonderkid, number one, Belgium produce top quality players. If you're a Wonderkid from Belgium, you're going to get a lot of interest from all of the clubs around Europe, including Arsenal. Now, the outlet publication HTC claimed that Arsenal are leading the race to sign him. Whether that's now in January or in the summer, I don't know, but that's what they're saying. Arsenal are leading the race to sign him. He's valued at around about £26 million, although you know the drill. All of these clubs in Europe at the moment will bump that price up as soon as they hear a Premier League team come in. So we're going to have to watch this space on that one, but he is being heavily linked with a move to Arsenal today. And what's going to happen with Emile Smith-Rowe? Spoken about him before on the show, and couple of journalists out there today saying that Aston Villa are still very interested in a move for Emile Smith-Rowe. Now, we know that Smith-Rowe has hardly played for Arsenal. We know as well that Aston Villa have made 2 bids in the past to try and sign him. About a year ago, they wanted 30. They were willing to pay £35 million for Emile Smith-Rowe. That was not backed by Arsenal. But would Arsenal now be willing to sell him? I mean, he hardly plays. He's hardly featured. He's over there at the moment, of course, as we know, in Dubai. How fit is he? We don't know that. I mean, it is a bit of a mystery for me why he hasn't really been playing, because is it that he's not fully fit? If he's fully fit, seems perfect to be going into that midfield right now. He knows the Premier League. In the past, he's been brilliant up until the injuries. So is he fully fit? And maybe Arsenal are saying to themselves in the second half of the season, he's going to really kick on and be a really important player for Arsenal. Or do Arsenal sell him on if Aston Villa are interested, bank that money and use that money to go after other signings? I'd love to see him stay because he's a hailing kid. He's come through the ranks at Arsenal. Could be a very important player for Arsenal in the second part of the season if he's fit, but who knows? But Aston Villa still interested in Emile Smith-Rowe, so we're going to have to wait and see how that one turns out. So those are the rumours for today. Listen, we're starting to get, halfway through the window now, and there's not really been any movement by Arsenal at all. Indeed, of course, they've been away. And I was thinking to myself, if they're going to get someone in, try and get them in early. We know what the January transfer window is like. We've seen it over the last couple of seasons with Arsenal where it doesn't look like they're going to sign someone and then all of a sudden, bang, bang, they bring people in. Let's wait and see how it's going to develop out this January. But on the whole, actually, across the whole Premier League, it's been a little bit quiet this January. Not been a lot of, I think only really Tottenham have made any sort of significant signings so far this January transfer window. So will it hot up as we move on? We'll have to wait and see. Thanks for watching the show. Don't forget to check out some of our great content. Check out the video with me and Troops discussing transfers as well. Get his take on transfers. And also check out some of the other excellent content that we've got coming out over this weekend. Thanks for watching the show, and I'll see you tomorrow.